There is a lot to be said for being consistent these days. After playing 4 hours of Star Wars Jedi Survivor last week, I can tell you it is exactly what you probably already thought it would be. A competent big-budget action-adventure sequel, well made by a talented people, that isn't breaking the mold but expands upon the first game in the areas you like best. If like myself you enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order, this will be probably a solid follow-up for you. But if you were less well disposed toward that first game, you would probably want to swap consistent for the world predictable. And before we continue the review, make sure to subscribe on my channel and hit the like button, and let's get started. We return to Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, although these days he is rocking a sleeveless vest. 5 years after the events of Jedi Fallen Order, he is still gamely running missions for the Alliance against the Empire. But he feels older, he has beard now, and has been through a lot. There is a shelf of items on his ship, where you can press X to be wistful. In Jedi Survivor, you are fighting both the Empire and some new and mysterious forces, including a group called the Bidlam Riders, who are staffed largely by combat droids and led by a large purple cyborg chap called Rivas. The preview which I played took place about an hour into the game, as Cal and his tiny robot Bestie BD-1 crash and land on the edge of the galaxy outpost planet called Kobo. Kobo is populated by aliens and humans who talk like American Deep South ranchers, although the planet itself is sunny, rocky, and with hardy thin-leafed plants, giving an overall Mediterranean vibe, rather than dodging the advantages of fiery sunburned divorcees in good old Club Med. However, Kobo is full of angry hit-potting hens called Rauka, and bright yellow slug moths that camouflage against the rocks, which I'm reliably told are shiverpedes. I practically enjoy the dust balls that are in fact raspberry blue aliens you can throw and which stick their tongues out at you. But I disagree. Here you are, stranded on Kobo, and in need of a spare part from your old pal Grease, who now runs the local dive bar, so you and DB1 head over to find him. This necessitates exploring what almost is prohibitively large map, because you would expect the sequel's maps to be bigger, and Kobo is, and it's studded with things to draw you from the beaten track. Huge skulls embedded in cliffs, mysterious mines, charming caves. There are Breath of the Wild adjacent Jedi Chamber challenge dungeons to find and complete. I didn't finish the level in my preview, and I saw other players exploring places I never found. There is no telling yet whether the rest of the survivors' worlds are as big as Kobo, but even if only a few of them are, you will certainly have more than enough to do in them. Cal finds Grease on the parts of his ship, but as soon as you would expect, drawn into a more involved Jedi-esque adventure, involving an anomaly in the sky, and will evidently treat Rumbler's Reach as home base for a while. You can even plant a little garden with seeds you collect, just outside this time rather than on your ship. As you would expect, Cal almost immediately starts collecting newfound family, including Grease Robot Bartender, the local stable owner Moosey. You can tame and ride some creatures around the world now, and a large of motherly lizardy alien called Duma, who is the de facto leader of Rumbler's Reach. There is also a spindly legit frog creature called Targle, whose main job is comedy flailing. I am a fan of Targle and several creatures I'm not allowed to mention, although for one of them I am simply written the word massive down in my notes. Gathering more friends will improve Rumbler's Reach, with different shops and amenities. This includes the DG crew for the bar. All this makes Rumbler's Reach a mysterious focal point of the map, around which you can find all the digressions and side quests to investigate, as well as wall running, swinging and jumping. Here are a lot of areas that requires a shortcut of a new ability to access. I found for example a small droid whose ship was stuck in an oily pond, and it was clearly that once I had upgraded my force powers, I could pull the stucker out. The general hugeness of the place is helped by improvements to the holo map, which now has clearer markings pointing you towards places you can go, places you haven't been, and places that you can't go to yet, but will be able to at some point. Whenever I got stuck, it was usually the case that looking at the map held the answer, and or a triceratops with a big tummy that spat mud. I developed the noble Jedi art of running away quite often, because just like last time, when you die you spawn at your last meditation point, Souls-like style, and lose all your XP points, unless you kill what kills you. This leads to probably the most noticeable change, and another expected one, because every sequel pushes the combat a bit, doesn't it? And in a fairness, Survivor pushes it a lot. Single and double blade lightsabering both return, and double wielding is now its own thing. There are two further stances that we didn't get to try. A slower cross-guard style, a la Kylo Fleshwall Ren, and double-wielding single-bladed lightsaber, and a blaster, which looked like a lot of fun in a live video demonstration. As before, you level up your fighting abilities, and unlock new moves. But 5 different stances combined with force powers too, makes for a lot of a new combat. You can equip 2 of 5 possible stances at once, to quick switch between in combat. Fights also include year standing blocking and timed berries for devastating damage. You can do finish moves to dismember baddies, which is always fun, and if you have enough force power you can slow time. Also, you can still hold your lightsabers up as a torch, which is obviously the best and the most important feature. I still honestly favor the single blade, but the double wielding does feel legitimately different, more chaotic, less defensive. I am not very good at chaining the combat together with elegance, especially when you take into account for force confusions, and your force pushes and force pulls that move, that enemy around the map like Moses parting a sea of limbs. There are a lot of controls to remember, most of which do different things in different stances, and it would take a more dedicated person than me to remember them all. Through the aforementioned live demo didn't demonstrate that it can be done, with much windmilling and flying kicks and switching to a different stances on the fly. The graphics is fascinating in this game, from places, characters, nature views and planets. Everything is designed well and looks great, but there is some problems with console's version, like drop frame and glitches. And in the PC version the game is more disappointing with more problems. There are a lot of glitches and software problems that will make this game not worth of trying. I hope this game fixed with updates, and if you want to try this game, don't buy it right now, until updates and bugs be fixed. It's not fair to spend full price $70 for a game with bugs and glitches. I have to confess that the fights didn't excite me as much as being able to change my lightsaber colors. You can, as you would also expect, do more customization in Survivor, as well as changing BD's basic color. You can also change his parts. He is divided into broadly heads, shoulders, knees, and as well not toes, but you get it. With different variations you can find the chests around the open world. Similarly, you can now change Cal's hair, facial hair, and have more in-depth customization with the clothes he wears, as well as the individual parts of his saber. You can even change how withered the thing is. I zoomed in to examine how much dirt was ingrained in the health. I'm okay with that. Star Wars is basically the only Disney property left that makes me feel something these days, and these games do recreate the things about Star Wars that I like, and in a better way than the recent trilogy of films. I'm willing to give it slack for being predictable because it's still fun. It's exactly what you are expecting, or possibly hoping for, depending on how you felt about Fallen Order. And exactly what you expected can include expecting something decent, rather than groundbreaking consistent. Finally, my rating for this game is 7 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed the review. Don't forget to join my channel with your subscription for more videos, and watch my previous reviews. See you next time. Ciao.